love for God and sound-minded, that is a man you have to admire. That's a man you have to admire. You have to admire that kind of man. And that's the thing people need to understand. That is power. That is strength. Anything else is weaknesses, because why? Most people won't survive it. They won't survive it. Most people would commit suicide or get angry or curse people or just go off the derrick, and that's the end of it. They hate God. They want nothing to do with God. So the fourth one is God. If you understand this, God gives and he's the one that takes. And God is the one that is directing your day in the future. Because God, everything that's happening, the fourth one is that God is allowing this to happen to me. God is doing this to me. It's not him. It's not the police officer. It's not the IRS. It's not the mortgage broker. It's not my boss. It's not the car. It's not Satan. It's God. God is the one that's controlling everything that's happening in my life. And everything God does is good. If you have that mindset, he's doing everything and everything he does is good, you are in a perfect place. Everything is good. Because how can a man, well, I'll get to that in a minute, and you're going to see how beautiful it is. And it says the future is not promised. There is no promise for the future. So you're not planning as far, because we like to plan for the future. That's part of the planning. The future is not promised. We're going to be here tomorrow. So a man that has that kind of mindset, he's not looking at the future. Yes, you plan to some degree, but you know it's going to be God's plan. You say, I'm not saying to use up everything, just burn all your money and stuff like that. No. I'm saying is that the future is not promised. There's many people who thought they're going to retire and they die the day they were going to retire. Some people die on the day they actually retire, they die. They never saw a cent or been able to spend that cent. But they worked 30 years. Why? The future is not promised. If you understand God is in control of everything and everything that happened is good, you are in a perfect place. Each day, he prepares each day to see how you're going to react. We don't plan our days. We try to, but it doesn't happen the way we planned it, does it? Every day, unexpected things happen unexpected. Where's this coming from? That's God. He wants to see how you react. Because the next day, he already planned what's going to happen to you. And his goal is to see how you react. That's his goal. How you're going to react to that situation. Okay? All you have to do, all you have is to choose right or wrong. That's really all we have in our power to decide if we're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing. We don't control nothing. Good or bad. That is all we really have in our control. It's an illusion to think you're in control. You're in control. You're only in control in decision making. Because why? You're in a situation now you don't want to be. And now you have to make a decision. Do I sell the house or not? Do I change my job or not? Do I buy this car or not? It's a decision. We can't change those, but those are the decisions we face with. Good and bad. Sometimes bad or worse. It depends. Thinking you're controlling the day is nearly an illusion. God sets up each day, and we have to choose to do what is right or what is wrong. This is all we have, ladies and gentlemen, is today. What God put before us and how we're going to manage that day or manage ourselves. Because that's how what they do in heaven. They're going to take apart your life day by day and to see the choices you made. Why did you make that choice? Why were you thinking like that? That's what they're going to ask you in heaven. Of course, you already know that. They're all going to know that as well because they can read your mind. But it's just to show you this is what's going to happen to us. So as long as you understand how you're going to be cross-examined by the Satan, why you made this decision, I'm preparing you now for you to understand this is what's going to happen. So again, all you have is choices. Decision to be made, the day set up by God, not you. Okay? God is the only one that is controlling everything. Ain't no Vada. There ain't no Vada, I mean there's nothing but God. That's what I mean. There's nothing but God. Knowing everything that is happening God is the one who is doing it. Not friends, not family, not coworker, not your neighbor, not the dog, not the snake, not the cat, not the elephant, not the gorilla, not the lightning storm, not the wind, not the storm, not the thunderstorm, not the hurricane. God. God. It's all God. Most important thing to know, everything he does is good, always. No matter what it looks like from your perspective. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to think and put God, minimize God to their level, to their understanding. And that's what we do. We think God thinks like us. God does not think like us. God doesn't see it the way we see it. We are limited. We're limited. And that's why God says, don't try to understand, do as I tell you, because you're not going to understand me. He told that to Moses. Moses said, can I see your face? He said, no, you're not going to be able to understand. But if you look back at your past, you're going to understand why this happened to you. If you look further back, you see he took you from point A to point B if you look back, but you can't see the future. You're not going to understand the future. To understand, you have to be God. That's the bottom line. You would have to be God to understand. God says, do not lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on your own understanding. My ways are not your ways. Just know it for the best. That everything he does is for the best. People like to think they know God and what he wants without reading his Torah, just by their own logic. They like to summarize or assume certain situation, just like Job friends. They thought they knew why God was doing that to Job. Or Job, you must be guilty. You did something wrong. You committed a sin against God, which he did. He was afraid. Okay? But they thought they really understood there was more to that. But again, people like to think they know. Do not say things if you haven't studied to know. You're not foolish enough to go to someone who didn't go to medical school to operate on you. You're not foolish enough to hire someone who's not a lawyer to defend you when you're going to spend 40 years in prison. You're not going to do that. So you're going to seek someone who has done research, who know what they're doing or what they're saying, because they have studied for at least 10 plus years to understand what's going on. What do you know about that? Zero. A lot of people like to think they know about when the Bible, and it's interesting. And if you ask them what they read, they have no idea what they read. They're just saying things like a parrot repeating from what certain scripture pastors or preachers have told them. They're just repeating the same thing. But you ask them what they know, no, they really know nothing. But when it comes to God, most people want to act like they know. And this is a downfall. Before you understand God, you got to read the entire book, the Old Testament, to understand the way God maneuver, operate with his creation, how he interacts with his creation, what is expected of his creation. So again, this is something that you have to keep in mind as you move forward with your life in this world. If you don't, you're going to suffer in this world. You're not going to be happy. You're going to live a life that was not pleasant. And you're going to lead to the wrong conclusion and live in the wrong way on top of that. You're going to still live against God because you led to the wrong conclusion because you didn't read the manual how to live here. Okay? So another example is that God wants you to follow his plan precisely. Okay? Don't deviate. How do we know this? Moses. The first time Moses hit the rock, water came out of it. God told Moses, now speak to the rock. But Moses was frustrated with the people because the people were complaining. And one thing about it, I have to admit too, when you're dealing with people, it does become where you're just tired of people. We all can say that because most people are not good. They can drain you. So Moses was frustrated when he had spoken to the rock, water didn't come out, he hit. So when he did that, he did not obey God's instruction. One thing about God, he wants you to obey instruction to the letter. There is no compromising when it comes to his instruction. That's the number one thing people need to understand. You do it exactly the way he says. Why? He's God. Do you know? No. But he does. He knows what's best for you. It's like your 5-year-old son telling you he knows what's best. Are you going to listen to this kid? Of course not. Same thing with us. We're like a 5-year-old in God's eyes. So he knows what is best. So because Moses did not speak to the rock, and that was a sin. Because God says, Hilu Hashem, meaning you desecrate my name. Because hitting the rock to speaking the rock is going from action that I have power by hitting. Now my power has increased to just verbal. Now my power is just coming out of my mouth. It's no longer I have to go like this anymore. I just speak it, it happens. And that's what God wanted Moses to do. So the people of Israel could see Moses is truly, God is backing him up. God is giving them this power, these abilities. That's where they're coming from. One thing I have learned is to throw away my own logic, to throw away my thinking, my ideology, my rationale. I just threw it out the window. Because why? It didn't serve me. It didn't work for me. I'm telling you right now. And I'm so happy. And I used to tell people that, and I still tell people that. I have no opinion. I have none. I have no logic or opinion, meaning that I do what the Torah says to do. Go to bed, wake up, do this, do that. I do it. I don't need to think. That's the whole point. Yes, I'm not saying not to think, but you have instruction how to do things. When you get a job, you're starting out, don't they give you instruction how to do the job? Why are they giving you instruction how to do the job? So that way you don't fail. That's why they give you instruction on the job. Here, do this, so you can be successful on your job. Well, guess what? God gave us a manual to be successful on this job called life, living this life. He's giving us instruction, and we need to apply that instruction to our life in order for us to be successful. We get up when it doesn't get, we get upset when we don't get what we want. And surely we all want good things to happen, but does it happen? We all want good things, but the question is, what is good? By our definition, what is good? And again, are we going to hate God simply because we didn't get what we wanted from God? Are we going to hate God because of that? If God would left good up to us, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing these videos with you. Because why? I would want to do something different with my life. At least I thought. Never in my dream I thought I would be teaching Torah or the Old Testament. I never thought I would be behind a camera, exposing myself to the world, teaching something that, some people may not want to hear about. But again, maybe not right now, but I'm telling you right now, this is a guarantee, not mine. You're going to want to learn this, because guess what? Life is not going to turn out the way you want it. And then God going to force you to seek him. Like it or not, you're going to seek him. You're going to seek him. So all the things that happened to me was good. It's hard to say that. It's hard to accept that, because I was not raised that way. Other religion teaches that whatever you want, whatever you wish for, God's going to give it to you. Whatever you pray for, he's going to give it to you. You give tithing, you give this, your dream will going to come true. We taught prosperity. Now, let me ask you a question. Think about this. We taught prosperity. Where did you see, anywhere in all the prophets, Abraham, Isaac, Moses, Noah, King David, King Saul, did you hear about prophet? About oh God, I just lost that. About prosperity. Where did you hear that? Prosperity was the least, it wasn't even on these people's mind, prosperity. But this is what we taught, prosperity. Why? Prosperity is opposite of pain. It's opposite of suffering. No one wants to talk about that, which is the reality of it. That's the reality of this world. But they don't want to address that. Why? You're not going to open your pocketbook in the church and put inside the basket. That's why. But if I teach you prosperity, you're going to give me all your money. Even when you die, you're going to give me everything. You're going to write everything to the church. Your title to your house, your bank account, going to go to the church. Why? I taught you prosperity. Made you feel good. Gave you hope on something that's not going to happen. And I end up getting everything. Job said, Job said, I'm not going to hate God because he took what he gave me back. Only a fool who does not understand why he's here, why he's in this world, the purpose of this world, which is temporal, temporarily. We're aging, we're getting older, and we're going to die. We're going to leave this body that's only worth $3 behind, and the worm's going to have a feast. The worm and the snake going to eat you like a delicious steak. All they're going to need is A1 steak sauce to put on your body for the worms and the snake to eat. You're leaving this behind. And the soul is going to go back up and tell what they did while they're here in this body. When I leave here, I can go upstairs and tell God what I did when I was here in this body. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for joining me, for learning with me. Share, writing comments, share with other people, with other friends. You have a lot of information you can learn and implement. Again, if you don't implement this into your life, it's not going to change anything. But again, this is something every human being should know, should have, starting with your kids. And I'll see you next time. God bless. Have a wonderful day.